A child was born who would one day become one of the most infamous names in human history. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in the small town of Braunau am in Austria-Hungary. His father's name was Alois Hitler, a mid-level customs official working for the Austrian government. Alois had been born out of wedlock and was originally named Alois Schicklgruber before later changing his surname to Hitler. Alois married 3 times during his life. His first wife was Anna Glassel, an older and relatively wealthy woman, and they had no children together. After her death, he married Franziska Matzelsberger, with whom he had 2 children, Alois Jr. and Angela. Franziska died young due to illness, leaving Alois a widower once again. Soon after, Alois married his much younger relative, Clara Polzel, who would become Adolf's mother. Clara was described as gentle, deeply religious, and extremely devoted to her children. Several of Clara's children died in infancy, which was tragically common at the time. When Adolf was born, he became the 4th child, and one of the few who survived early childhood. After losing multiple children, Clara became overprotective and deeply attached to Adolf. 2 more children survived after him, Edmund, Nd, and Paula. When Adolf was 10 years old, his younger brother Edmund died of measles. This loss deeply affected him and marked a noticeable change in his behavior. Because of his father's job, the family moved frequently, and Adolf attended several different primary schools. In his early years, he performed well academically and received praise from his teachers. He was confident in class and often took the lead among other boys. He enjoyed reading adventure stories and had a strong interest in tales of war and heroism. He also loved drawing and showed clear talent in art from a young age. However, his relationship with his father was tense and often hostile. Alois was strict, authoritative, and quick to anger. He wanted his son to follow in his footsteps and enter the civil service. Adolf had no interest in bureaucracy and dreamed instead of becoming an artist. Arguments between father and son were frequent and sometimes intense. While he feared and resisted his father, he was emotionally attached to his mother. Clara's affection and protection became a central emotional anchor in his life. As he entered secondary school, his grades began to decline. He struggled in technical subjects such as mathematics and showed little discipline. His interest shifted more strongly toward art, architecture, and history. He began to neglect assignments that did not interest him. Eventually, he was required to repeat a grade due to poor performance. Teachers described him as stubborn, imaginative, and often lost in his own thoughts. In 1903, when Adolf was 13, his father died suddenly from a lung hemorrhage. With his father gone, the pressure to pursue a government career eased. Adolf continued school for a few more years, but lacked direction and consistency. In 1907, at the age of 18, he traveled to Vienna to apply to the Academy of Fine Arts. He failed the entrance examination. The Academy suggested that his talent was more suited to architectural drawing than to fine art painting. Later that same year, his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Adolf returned home and stayed by her side during her illness. In December 1907, Clara died, and Adolf was devastated by her loss. According to the family doctor, he had never witnessed such intense grief from a young man. In 1908, Hitler returned to Vienna and applied again to the Art Academy. He failed a second time. Without a diploma, without stable income, and without family support, he drifted into poverty. He lived in men's hostels and homeless shelters for several years. He earned small amounts of money by painting postcards and selling simple cityscapes. Vienna at the time was a city filled with political tension and ethnic diversity. Nationalist and racial ideas circulated widely in newspapers and public speeches. During these years, Hitler began forming stronger political opinions. He developed an intense belief in German nationalism. He became increasingly drawn to anti-Semitic and racist ideologies that were present in parts of Viennese political culture. These ideas gradually shaped his worldview and hardened his sense of identity. In 1913, at the age of 24, he moved to Munich in Germany. He felt a stronger connection to Germany than to Austria. When the First World War broke out in 1914, he volunteered to serve in the German army. The war gave him structure, purpose, and belonging. He served as a messenger on the Western Front. He was awarded the Iron Cross for bravery. He survived dangerous missions and several close encounters with death. In 1916, he was wounded in battle and temporarily sent away from the front. In 1918, he was exposed to a gas attack that left him temporarily blinded. While recovering in a hospital, he learned that Germany had surrendered. The news of defeat shocked and angered him deeply. He believed that Germany had been humiliated. He began to blame political leaders and internal enemies for the loss. This moment marked a turning point in his life. The failed artist and wounded soldier would soon step into politics. This was the early life of Adolf Hitler, a protected child, a rebellious student, a struggling artist, a soldier shaped by war. Part 2 would tell the story of how he transformed from a defeated veteran into the leader of Nazi Germany.